Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Minna. In this video, you'll be learning how to make this kimono jacket with drawstrings by the side. You can equally rock this as a boo-boo dress. I'm also going to show you how to change it to a boo-boo gown, so make sure you watch the video to the end. And also, please don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends and loved ones. Without wasting much of your time, let's dive straight into the video. You need 2.5 yards of Ankara print for this. I've gone ahead to cut out half yard out of it. The half yard will be used as my band and also to create my drawstrings. So the first step is to fold this into two. After folding it into two, go ahead and fold it again into four. You can see how I folded this, right? So I folded the first time, I also folded it again into four. This part is going to serve as my shoulder because I don't want my shoulder to have joining. After folding, the next step is to create my back neckline. So from the starting line, I'll come down by 1.5 inch for my neck depth. From the center front, I'll go in by 3 inches for my neck width. So go ahead and take 1.5 by 3 inches. Then I will use a curve ruler to connect from the 1.5 inch to the 3 inches that I marked. Next step is to take your shoulder measurements. From the center front, I'll go in by 7 inches. My shoulder is 14 divided by 2. I have 7. So I'll go ahead and mark 7 inches there. If you want to have your shoulder slope and also to join the shoulder, from where you mark your shoulder measurements, place your tape on the starting line and come down by 1 inch. Then connect it into the neck width as shown. For me, I don't want my shoulder to have joining, so I'm just explaining it for you in case you want to have your shoulder slope and also to join your shoulder. So I place my tape on the center front to mark my shoulder measurement, which is 7 inches. From where I chalk my 7 inches, I'll place my tape there and I'll mark the length of my sleeve. You know, this is cut together sleeve. I want the length of my sleeve to be 14 inches, so I'll go ahead and chalk where I have 14 inches. The next step is to place my tape on the starting line just around the 14 inches that I marked. Then I'll come down by 14 inches for my sleeve width. I would have marked 13 inches, but I'll add extra 1 inch to it for joining allowance. I'll go ahead and chalk 14 inches. The next step is to input the widest part of your measurement. If it's your hips, go ahead and mark your hip measurement. If it's your bust, go ahead and mark your bust measurement. And if it's your tummy or your waist, go ahead and input that. So mine is the hips. I'm going to mark 9 inches. That's quarter of my hip circumference is 9 inches. After chalking the 9 inches, I'll place my tape on where I have 9 inches. Then I'll add extra 6 inches as my allowance. Okay, so 5 inches is the allowance of my boo-boo gown or my kimono. 1 inch is for sewing allowance. You know, this is not supposed to be tight, so the extra allowance you're adding to your accurate measurement is based on how free you want it. If you don't want it to be that free, you can add like 3 inches to it. Do you understand? Next step is to connect it to the sleeve width as shown. So I'm also going to mark the same thing on this down part so I can have a straight line when I'm connecting it down. So from the center front, I'll go in by 9 inches, which is quarter of my hip circumference. From where I have 9 inches, I'll also place my tape there and I'll mark 6 inches. Then I'll use my stretch ruler to connect it as shown. Next step is to mark the length. So I'll place my tape on the starting line. I'll come down by 35 inches. I'm going to use the whole length of this. 35 inches is the length. I'll chalk where I have 35 inches. Then I'll use my stretch ruler to connect it as shown. Then for this part, if you are not good with freehand, you can use a curve ruler to connect it as shown. The next step is to cut it out. I'm done cutting it out. I'll go ahead and open it up so you see how it looks. So you can see here our shoulder is still intact. We are not going to join the shoulder. One part is the front and one part is the back. Okay, so for the front, I'm going to determine where I want my front to be. I'm just going to pick any side to be the front. You know, we came in by 3 inches for our neck width, so I'll place my ruler on where I have my 3 inches. Then I'll go ahead and mark a straight line to the down part as shown. You can equally use your tape to mark where you have 3 inches on the down part so you can have a straight line when you are connecting it. After chalking it, I'll go ahead and cut it out following the straight line. After cutting, the next step is to go ahead and measure round like what you have. Start from the beginning part and measure round up to the neckline and to the down part. Just go ahead and measure everything. This measurement is what you use to cut your band. When I measured mine, I had roughly 92 inches. So I used 92 inches to cut my band. So the length is 92 inches and the width is unfold 2 inches. So by the time I open it up, I'm having 4 inches. Unfold, that is 2 inches. I've gone ahead to iron it out. You can see how it looks. The next step is to attach it to my dress. So I'll go ahead and attach it as shown. Then I'll use my pin to secure it round as shown. Then after securing it round, I'm going to start from this ending part round just the same way I measured. That's the same thing I'm going to do. I'll use my pin to secure it round. After securing it round with my pin, I'll take it to my sewing machine and I'll stitch it with 1/2 inch. I'll take it to my sewing machine and I will join it with 1/2 inch. So this part is a sleeve. So I've also gone ahead to cut a band for it by measuring the length of my sleeve, and I also went ahead to cut based on the length that I measured. This is a band. Unfold is 2 inches as well. By the time you open it up, you're going to have like 4 inches. I also take it to my sewing machine and I will join it with 1/2 inch as well. Here is how it looks after I was done stitching it together. You can see how it looks. I've also gone ahead to iron it out. Here is the sleeve. I've also attached my band to the sleeve. You can see how it looks. I equally did the same thing to the second sleeve. The next step is to sew the down part. So I'll go ahead and fold it as shown. I'll fold it the first time and I'll fold it again the second time. Then I'll take it to my sewing machine. I'll sew on it as shown. The reason we have to fold this part first is because of the string should be attaching to the side. So you have to do this one first before you go ahead and join the side. Okay, for the rope will be attaching to the side to achieve our drawstrings. I've gone ahead to cut 4 pieces of it. The length of this is 20 inches and the width is 1.5 inch. So go ahead and do the same thing. Your own can be longer than this, guys. It can actually be shorter than this. So I decided to use 20 inches as the length of mine, but the width I use 1.5 inch for it. Okay, so the next step is to also take this to the sewing machine, and what I'm going to do is to fold in 1/2 inch on both ends as shown. Then I'll fold it again then I'll go ahead and top stitch on it. I will equally do the same thing to all of them. So I'm done creating my ropes. The next thing is to attach it to the side. So from this side, I'm going to go up by 15 inches. I want the length of mine to be 15 inches. So I'll go ahead and fix it in as shown. When you fix it inside, go ahead and top stitch on it just to secure the rope. Okay, then for this side, you have to fold it in just like this, just to secure this part like so. Just fold it in like this and top stitch on it. The rope needs to be inside. Don't top stitch on the rope, okay? It's just the upper part you are going to top stitch just to secure the rope on the upper part. But for this side, make sure you're not sewing on the rope, because if you should sew on the rope on this side as you're sewing it to the down part, you'll not be able to draw it. Okay, so make sure you are not sewing on the rope as you are sewing it down. The only place you have to sew on the rope is just on that line of 15 inches just to secure it. I just hope you understand what I'm trying to explain. So I'll take it to my sewing machine. I will do exactly what I explained, and I'll equally do the same thing to the other side. I'll bring it back, then I'll show you how it looks. So here is how it looks. I also forgot to video how I joined the side. So I joined the side with 1 inch straight down. Okay, so after attaching my drawstrings, this is how it looks like. I equally did the same thing to the other side. By the time you draw it, this is what you get. You can adjust it whichever way you want. To rock this as a boo-boo dress, all you have to do is to attach hook and eye to it. So I'll go ahead and attach my hook and eye on it with like 3 inches apart from the next one. After attaching it like so, after sewing it on it, I'll equally sew the hook on the other part so I can use it to button it. Thank you so much for watching to the very last. If this tutorial was helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and also share it to your friends and family. And if you have any question, let me know in the comment section. See you guys in my next video. Bye.